Hi, everybody. I'm really happy because I had this great opportunity to have somebody talking about the future and about exploration before me. I consider myself really to be exploring what the human capacity is and what we can do and how we can make a positive difference. Talking about the gaps today, it's really about crossing the borders between the one, the we, and the positive difference we can all make. This is really my subject. And today I will be telling you a story about passion. I'm an extremely passionate connector. If I want it or not, I do it. So my brain, if you tell me something, my brain starts, where does this person belong to and how we can connect that? I realize in the meantime, I do not react to numbers. I do not react to names. I react to feelings. I react to personality and the ideas these people have. This is what I do, and when they inspire me, I immediately have connections all around the world how to do that. I still, very often, I'm asked, what do I do for a living? And it's very difficult to explain. I started my own business 5 years ago. In 2005, I started Brainswork, brains working together for a better future. It is a consulting company. We are a business developer. We do a lot of work for startups. But it's still not really a classical consulting company. We are not a classical promotional company, and we are not a graphic designer, so we do a lot of things. How do you explain something that is not in the box? People need boxes so I can explain what we do. So I need to say, we are this, and that, and it's very difficult. So I've been for years considered a bit a freak, the person that looks too far in the future, is far advanced in her time. And finally, I realized very shortly that in this fall, I really had the deepest point in my business, really had a hard time in my business. And it was a situation where it's die or fly. And Brainswork flies. We have made it, with connecting to other people, with connecting worldwide, to really, from a very small business, from 2 people, to build up a business with 132 partners worldwide. That means that basically, through the network connections and the structure we have, we can connect about 600 to 700 people at a glance, should we need that. Of course, we don't have such a kind of a job, but still, it is a possibility that we have. So it is about the passion, about the we and the one that get connected to for making a positive difference. The problem we have today is that through Facebook, through Twitter, through all the social networks, we become a very strong we. We, the community of TEDx, we, the community of something. But what happens is that we have a problem of a person. Kind of the responsibility the person has for herself or himself towards others gets lost because we are part of a larger community. And we don't have to do that. Somebody else would do it. I'm just part of that. I'm just a member, because that's a classical network structure. In any network, you have the leaders, you have the active members, and the vast majority, which are just passive members of the network. So if I'm a member of the TEDx network, I'm kind of part of that, and I need to do nothing, because the TEDx community will do something for me. And this is my problem that I have now, is that although I am a strong connector and somebody who brings people together, we need to go back to the I, the one, and my own responsibility, what I can do, and making a positive difference. I'm absolutely convinced that every single person can make a positive difference. And we do that every single day. For example, if you think of the fact that what is it really what makes humanity survive? We can talk about all kinds of philosophical thoughts and very specific physical things. But at the end of the day, we survive because of a smile of a baby. Any of you who has children, who has a baby, or has friends that have a baby, and has gone through the fact that the baby doesn't sleep, you don't sleep, the baby constantly cries, the baby says constantly something, if it wouldn't smile, they would have a really hard time. A smile makes a huge difference in our lives. They did an exercise, or they did an experiment in a New Yorker bus, and I asked the bus driver to say hello to everybody that came into the bus. So everybody that came into the bus that morning, he said, "Hi, how are you? Good morning. How was your day today?" And it turned out that at the very beginning, everybody was like, "What's wrong with the bus driver today?" But within a very few minutes, the whole atmosphere in the bus changed completely. It was not these phases down, but it was more like a positive atmosphere. So even smiling to somebody might make a difference. And that's something you can try every now and then. It's just in the morning, you stand in front of a mirror and you smile to yourself. That might help at the very beginning. Why? Because if you are trying to travel to Mars, or if you're trying to travel to the moon, or if you are trying what I'm trying to do, to think about the year 2049 with an initiative that we did with the year 2049, it's talking about Europe, very often you're considered really to be a freak. So you need some kind of a positive feedback. You can get it from yourself on one hand, but very importantly, the network. It is the connecting, the bridging the gap between one person, the vision you have, and the majority or group you have around. Yesterday evening, by coincidence, I watched again the Forrest Gump, the movie. And you see this guy that starts running one day, just stands up and starts running and runs through the one coast and then runs to the other coast and then goes back and forth for 2 years, and then suddenly other people start joining. He had no clue why he's running in the movie. But people start running with him because they saw a meaning in something that he was doing. So he did it for another year and a half, and then suddenly he said, oh, I'm tired, that's it. And all the others kind of stayed and say, what's wrong? What's up with me? I want to go further. I want to run with you. So we do need leaders, and we do need people that have dreams, visions, are ready to fight for that, are ready to go through many, many years of really being, if you think of Mahatma Gandhi, or if you think of Galileo Galilei, all kinds of people that really had an idea, a vision, and needed supporters at some point in time to be considered as the truth or the right thing to do. Smiling to a person or making a small difference can be very different. I was born in Bosnia, and there was a war in Sarajevo in 92, 95, and my father was there. At that time, or not immediately at the very beginning, but very soon, they had no water, no electricity. I mean, when I say no water, that means that if you get a bottle, 1.5 liter bottle of water to shower and bath, that was really luck. So, of course, the first thought is you would say people will kind of get into themselves, would not wash anymore, and wouldn't kind of dress up anymore. But what was important was really this human dignity. And my father was somebody who was known for doing that. He would go out and tell people, dress up and put your makeup on, because that was part of his inspiring, or his the one person that is inspiring others who get to a we, which meant in one way or the other, resistance or showing that you're not down, you're kind of going up. Connecting very small little things that can do that. Also in the fact that this initiative that I mentioned earlier, this Incredible Europe, is about seeing Europe. I think I'm an absolutely convinced European. And I think that the way Europe is functioning now is not good, and we need to change something. So I can sit down and say the EU and the governments and all of them are bad guys and bad girls. I think I need to do something. I want actions worth spreading, not just ideas, actions worth spreading. And that's how we started Incredible Europe, which means Innovative Creative Europe by the year 2049. Why 2049? Because it was just exactly 40, when we started in 2009, it was 40 years from the first moon landing. And we said, okay, what is going to be the next big, small step for humanity and for mankind? And we are gathering people together. It is very similar. We kind of looked at all the best there is around. So we looked at what TED does. We looked also what the World Economic Forum does. We looked at all the best there is around and put up together a conference on one hand, but also a movement that is growing of people that actively want to do something to change and act. They give their own little step towards that change and not just consume. This is something that also happens here, basically, except for one or two things that happen, is you are consuming. We are talking, you are consuming, or I was also myself consuming. And it's about changing that into having more active approach, into having people really doing something for themselves and for their community, and with that making a positive difference. The other problem being that basically the passionate connection that I have is really I need to get inspired, of course. One of the things that I was really interested in, I really wanted to have, is I wanted to meet the Dalai Lama, which is not really an easy task. I mean, you sit in Vienna and it's kind of, okay, Dalai Lama, why don't you come over and I want to talk to you, and yeah. Well, finally it did happen. There were some people that did a great conference here in Vienna, and Walzel, and the Dalai Lama was there, and I had the chance to really listen to him, and it was absolutely amazing experience for myself. But on the other hand, I must say that I learned from the Dalai Lama as much as I learned from my children. There is no knowledge that is worth more than the other knowledge. It is, and also TED is about really exchanging that knowledge, getting these together, exchanging the experiences, and in this sense, it's like networking with each other, or mingling around and talking to each other, is really getting this, bridging the gaps, what they would call in the social network analysis, they would call it le vide. Yeah? It's gapping that, and as a brokerage, gapping the bridge, or bridging the gap, and getting the people together, getting that knowledge together, and putting it together in another sense. Wonderful thing, a concert a few days ago I went to, there was this guy playing on his Stradivari, and he had a rock band and an orchestra with him at the same time. Amazing experience, something that is not usual, it is not normal, but it works greatly. It's just amazing how you can match things together that did not match earlier, and now are just part of our normal life. The thought of Europe is one of the things that we are trying to do as a business consultant. That's something I have to do constantly, is like consulting businesses and consulting people to come further. And we're constantly comparing to the Silicon Valley and comparing to how the States are doing business. And I think that we have something more than here in Europe. I think we have an enormous creative and innovative potential, but we are not using it the right way. We're kind of trying to copy something that is not our way of doing stuff. And small is beautiful. Europe is based, 90% of the European businesses are small businesses. So what's wrong with that? Why can't we kind of have a network structure so that we have the strength, but still can live and innovate and be creative, be more flexible, be faster than large corporations that are around? This is something that is really an enormous power. I mean, just think of that. If you look at the Oscars night, yeah? Who is the real winner at Oscars every year? European fashion. What do they wear? Yeah. If you think at the last World Football, how is it called? World Football Championship, who were the 3 teams that won? Come on, somebody. European teams, you're saying? Was that a European championship or a worldwide championship? Huh? The thought is just we don't think that way. We always think it's Germany, it's Spain, it's another country. But imagine we would all the statistics put it and say, this is Europe. How strong would that be? It's there. We don't need to invent it. We could, if we would want to, just change the way we think about it. We always think it's something that is kind of imposed onto us, but it's just there, this diversity. It is just fantastic. The diversity we have, you just travel 20 minutes, an hour in another country, another culture, another language. Europe is 700 million people who speak more than 50 languages, and we should be one single global player. We definitely need to change the way we think about that. An enormous power that is behind that. But not even thinking about such large sums. It's about really about each of you making a little step and making your life better and making the life of others better. That's something that we can really do with a little environmental changes around us. That is Kaizen Taien is a Japanese business philosophy which talks about improving daily, constantly improving your direct environment. It's not about innovation from today a really groundbreaking innovation. It's about constant innovation around you. Of course, we do need also the big innovation. But if each of you and each of us makes a small little difference, then it sums up to a lot. And if we then, as one person, and if we then connect and become a we, then we can make a much larger innovation. And if that's also with the thought of making a positive difference into the world, then we can really make something that will make our future much better. Very simple. I'm absolutely egoistic. I have children. I want my children to have a better tomorrow. So there is no something I'm kind of very altruistic and I'm thinking of something very egoistic point of view. But a story says, and this is one of the most amazing stories I've heard, a woman has 5 children. Her husband dies. She has no job. She starts cleaning up in houses. She gets really very little money. And every now and then she gets 2 slices of bread. She takes 1 slice of bread and divides it into 5 pieces, and each of the children gets 1 small little piece of that 1 slice of bread. And she eats the 2nd slice of bread. My immediate reaction is, how could you? But this is the only way for her to have, if she doesn't have enough energy, she will not be able to work tomorrow. She will not be able to bring the money that will make the education of her children secure. All of her 5 children finish school. It's a philosophy of taking care of yourself as also to be taking care of the others. It doesn't, both are needed to really have a better influence. Both are needed to make a positive difference. So take care of yourself. This is something that we very often now, there's a whole trend of NGOs and young people kind of doing a lot of stuff as non-profits and where you need to also make some money and make your living. So take care of your living. Do make a positive difference. It doesn't exclude each other, but just you need to have both of those things. And it's really, if you just think of it, I mean, who of you would have a problem to really smile at another person and kind of make them feel better? We always have our days. So we just need somebody to push up our self-esteem, thank you, to feel better. But then we can be more creative, innovative, whatever you do. So it's really about bridging the gaps between the one and the we and making a positive difference at the end of the day. If I were to ask you, I would like all of you who think you can make a positive difference to stand up. And now I would like you to repeat with me, yes, I will make a positive difference. Yes? I will make a positive difference. Thank you.